All right, it is election season in full swing. April 22nd is municipal elections, and there are some big ones coming up, and it's getting nasty. It's getting nasty, and I know something about nasty elections. Oh, you're not going to believe what I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to show you what they did to me when I ran for city council back in 2018. It relates to the topics. But before we get started, one of the nastiest city commissioners is in Panama City. Josh Street is his name, and insinuation is his game. If I start rhyming, it's going to be hot tonight. Anyway, he and his supporters, they're just kind of different. Let's just say they're different. But Josh Street, who is hiding behind the fraudulent referendum, he says it's illegal to answer questions at the city commission meetings, about Beach Drive. Well, somebody's running against him. Somebody's running against him who has an education and training in architecture, is a conservative, and understands priorities. Panama City has a chance to vote Josh Street out and to vote this guy in.
There's other parts of the city. Maybe our neighborhoods need to be fixed. Our roads, they are prioritizing these more or less pet projects and special interest. The government's only job is to serve and protect the people. Okay, we're being protected for the most part, but are we being served? Now, I don't think we are, because when we have utility lines with lead and copper and all these outdated materials that haven't been maintained, replaced, or serviced in over 40, 50 years, decades. But we're focusing on repaving, spending millions on new roads, lanes that are too close to the point where big trucks have to turn in their mirrors, unnecessary signage for street markers in downtown Panama City. The rest of the city's falling apart. The whole purpose is to serve you're taxing the people and you're not serving them. It's funny because if we go back a few hundred years, there was something called, no taxation without representation. And it's like, how are you still repeating that same mistake hundreds of years later?
Vote for Demetrius Reese for Panama City Commissioner, Ward 4, on or before April 22nd. Trained and educated in architecture, a conservative, running against Josh Street. Boy, I hope Panama City makes a good decision there. Before I get into WMBB's news story tonight about Mayor Rohan and a letter that he sent to voters that did not have a financial disclosure on it, and it was supposed to. It's by law, you have to. And things in that letter he said about his opponent, Alan Branch. I want to talk about both of those in a moment, but I need to show you what happened in Lynn Haven first. In Lynn Haven, one of the ladies who runs the Beacon of Bay County page, Gap Parker, she went up and asked a very simple question. All of the money that Panama City spent for the Taj Mahal, for the city hall, that has a $400,000 kitchen up by the police chief's office on the second floor. I mean, it goes on and on. That building is not up to code. It doesn't have an occupancy certificate, a certificate of occupancy. I mean, if a citizen was doing what the city is doing, they wouldn't be doing it for long. The very least these so-and-sos could do, every single one of them. And Commissioner Jamie Ward, you didn't answer the question either. It's unacceptable. Here, look. This is this very simple question asked by Parker. Tell me if this deserves an answer. This is the kind of stuff that is unacceptable. And this is why people like Josh Street need to be voted out. I know it's a different city, but it's the same principle. Watch.
The other things I want to touch on is City Hall. How much has been paid? How much is still owed to the contractor? I would like a public records request for a year-end audit. You can send it to my email. Y'all have my email. James Finch offered to pay for an audit and y'all refused. Pay for it outright. Why? Temporary certificate of occupancy. Does the city have an actual certificate of occupancy?
Look at all of them.
Also, are sprinklers installed in the,
Look at every one of them. First of all, do you think if I was on the Lynn Haven City Commission, I'd be one of the Stepford wives? I mean, would I be wearing a blue shirt? Hey, let's all walk in and wear a blue shirt and show that we're united. We're a united front. Are you out of your mind? If I found out Pat Perno, Sam Peebles, and Judy Vandergrift, if they said, Bernie, we need you to wear the blue shirt, I'd wear a damn any color shirt than that. But Commissioner Jamie Ward, who they abuse like a battered wife, doesn't even answer the question. They all look annoyed by her question. Her question is a legitimate question. What the hell is wrong with you people? Look at every one of their body language. Watch.
building for fire protection. Still not answered of where the 30,000 backpack of cash Ramey took to Ford.
Ooh.
Also, the 16,800 confiscated in April of 2018. Where did that money go to?
Where's the cash? Where's the dough? Hey, FBI, you might want to look. Y'all scrutinize the hell out of former commissioner. Oh gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Somebody help me. Who's the former commissioner? Why am I forgetting his name? He showed such courage. He was prosecuted. Yeah, somebody give me the name. I can't even believe I'm. And if you're watching, forgive me. But one of the city commissioners, they accused of bribery. The prosecutors did, with absolutely no evidence. They can't even do it anymore because the Supreme Court said you cannot prosecute a Section 666 wink and a nod with no evidence. Bribery. Antonius Barnes, it just hit me. Thank you. Yes, Amy, it just hit me right before you put that on there. So Antonius Barnes, the FBI and the prosecutors spent time in the federal courtroom in front of federal judge Mark Walker, who tolerated this. And they said, look, he went to this restaurant and spent $18 here. He went to that restaurant and spent $28 here. He went to Chick-fil-A and spent $8 here. They did that to Antonius Barnes, but they don't do an effing thing about $30,000 cash in a backpack that Ricky Ramey, police chief, and Sheriff Ford were last seen with. That's why people don't trust you, FBI, DOJ, all of you on the commission. Why is nobody answering the question? Because you're all complicit. That's why. Am I right or wrong? Unbelievable. There she is, too. The brave and courageous, plugged in, somebody who gives a damn on the screen. Look at her face, asking them questions, and look at their body language. That's courage. Do you know how much you think I like going up there and facing power? Are you crazy? I have nervous indigestion all day before I go up there. People think, Bernie, you love it. No, I don't. You know what I say. I say I feel like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And that's probably how Gap Parker feels. But you know what? Somebody has to do it. Because enough of the city doesn't go up there. Doesn't ask the question. Doesn't demand answers. Instead, they're fighting with each other, like the Hatfields and McCoys. But I don't want to get into that right now. You're not going to believe that story when I finally tell you what's going on there. All right, anyway, I just wanted to show you none of them answer. All right, enough of that. I'm just so fed up with these kind of people. Now I need to tell you about Mayor Doc Rohan. He made a big mistake. I have not talked to him about this yet because I just saw this right before the show. And I did speak with Alan Branch, his opponent who's running for mayor. I spoke with Alan Branch on Friday, had a lengthy discussion with him because I had heard about the allegations that Mayor Rowan included in his letter. And I asked Alan Branch about them, and he told me. And guess what? All of the allegations are false. They're false. Alan Branch was not given property by the city. He bought the parcel from the DIB. Alan Branch was not given an area between his food truck, El Weirdo, and the home he built downtown. That was an abandoned alleyway, and there were conflicting survey lines, and he was able to get that properly. It wasn't just given to him. Also, there is a question about why he is able at his restaurant history class, why he's able to have seating for people outside that looks like it's on 3 parking spaces in the road. Well, there is that's available to any of the restaurants down there. There is an ordinance, and it's called cafe seating. You can get either cafe seating permits, or there's also a cafe sidewalk ordinance. And he actually took extra precautions and put up these giant barriers. He spent his own money, put up giant barriers to make sure that the people, it wasn't required by the ordinance, to make sure that the people seated there were safe. So I have to tell you, no matter who we are rooting for to win, we have to be honest. And the allegations in the letter against Alan Branch are false. And I wish I had been able to have this conversation between Friday and today, but the letter was sent out a few days ago from Mayor Rowan to the voters. And one thing you've got to know, when you run against the deep state, they're freaking out. When you run against the local good old boys, they'll come for your head if you don't dot an I or cross a T. They, on the other hand, you want me to prove it? I'm going to prove it to you. You're not going to believe it. I'm not joking. I ran for city council, Panama City Beach in 2018. And one of the council members in Panama City Beach, Hector Solis, he not only sued me for defamation when I was a candidate, and WMBB ran that story like crazy, as though I was liable, as though I did it. I won. Also, the same guy, Councilman Hector Solis, I wasn't even running against him. He also filed a complaint with the Florida Elections Division claiming that I had committed a financial disclosure. I'd broken financial disclosure laws, and WMBB ran that story. But when I deposed Hector Solis, when he sued me, and I showed the world that he would not deny writing "go home" N-words on a black family's home in Texas, WMBB wouldn't cover that story. There's nothing that the establishment people can do that they'll cover. But if there is even, I mean, look at the sunshine law violations that happen all the time. But the only people who are nearly prosecuted for it or investigated and pressured for it are people like Michelle Miller in Mexico Beach, the mayor, who they successfully were able to recall. That's a wild story too. I've covered that. But also Mayor Rowan. Nobody else. Nobody else. So when you hear this story, keep it in context. Mayor Rowan was wrong about Alan Branch. Alan Branch did not get those favors from the city. It was on the up and up. And we need to be able to say that. But you know what? These goons like Josh Street and the Hatfields and McCoys, Oh, hell, I'll tell you. I might as well just tell you. So I got a real nasty letter from some lady. And I was like, yeah, you people like you need to have a special place in hell. I hope you projectile vomit. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. I got this message. So every now and then I will show you what I endure. and and there's a reason I did it. It turns out she's the wife or girlfriend of the um, public works director of the city, Clint, who I just told you that Clint Murphy said if you're against the Beach Drive project in an email, you can eat a donut and just be quiet. Like what? His lady? She's really young and he's really old. Okay. But I'm a lot older than Miss Sarah Moon, so don't be judging sexy guys like me and Clint. Okay. Maybe Clint won't beat me up next time I see him. He could probably throw me, like javelin me on across him. So anyway, he's got this young lady, and it's kind of and her name's Hatfield. So they've got us fighting like the Hatfields and McCoys. That's the joke. I don't know if I was actually going to tell you that, but I might as well fill you in. And I don't like to talk about family. I don't like to talk about any of that stuff. But this was kind of relevant. It's kind of, the guy who's pushing for the beach, the kind of the project director type dude, the public works director for the city. Who are rah, sit down and eat a donut, shut the F up. And then his other half is going to tell me, I hope you burn in hell and projectile vomit. Yeah, now I got to talk about you. That's all. Okay, that's all. But that's the kind of nasty people who covet Beach Drive. They're nasty people. But still sexy. I mean, he pulled that off. I mean, but nasty people. The Hatfields and McCoy. Yeah, no, that's not his daughter. People are like, that's his daughter. No, it's not. So anyway, that was that whole thing. They're nasty. And so where should we go from here? Oh yeah. So when I ran, I'm gonna tell you, I guess I first should show you the Doc Rohan story. Let me show you the Doc Rohan story. He messed up. He messed up on 2 counts. He was wrong about Alan Branch in the accusations in the letter, and the letter needed a financial disclosure. Okay. And the establishment will do everything they can to lock up Doc Rohan for the rest of his life for that. Oh, I'm not joking. They would absolutely do that. They tried to put the whistleblower of the Lynnhaven corruption, Margot Anderson, they prosecuted her. And if convicted, she would have faced 1,050 years. And she was the whistleblower. Oh, yeah. They would absolutely do that. So let me show you the news story.
Campaigning is in full force.
Thousands of Panama City residents received a letter in the mail.
Now, this is tonight. I will tell you that it appears to me, and again, I haven't talked to Mayor Rowan about this because I just saw this tonight. And I wanted to get the show going. But it appears to me that they asked him for an interview about the campaign and then blindsided him. They didn't say, we're coming to ask you why there's no financial disclosure, to give him time to look at the law and have an answer. They asked him a bunch of other questions and then they ambushed him. I don't even do that. I tell people, if you want to come on the show, I'm not going to ambush you. Here's what we're going to talk about. But WMBB ambushes him just like they did me back in 2018. I'll show you.
Mail yesterday with the title, Re-elect Doc Rohan. As News 13's Grace Velez tells us, the 6-page letter covers a variety of topics, but is missing something important.
The words "to restore fiscal sanity and end political cronyism" close out Panama City Mayor Doc Rohan's most recent campaigning endeavor.
Political cronyism means the good old boys. We have a good old boy network here in town, and the good old boys have been running this place for a long time. and they're running it for their benefit.
The letter lists several scenarios Rohan believes to be examples of financial irresponsibility. The Martin Theater, the Marina,
Huge,
the Beach Drive
huge.
referendum, and the fire assessment fees are just a few topics
Lord.
Rohan covered.
Panama City is real. We're not bankrupt, but we're pretty close. We're pretty close to running out of money. And the reason we're not doing well is two reasons. We're spending too much money, as my letter would talk about Chestnut, where we spent over $1 million for a piece of property that we didn't need. And we don't really have any economic development here in town. Since I've been on the mayor for 2 years, we've had no economic development whatsoever.
In addition to citing reckless spending, Rohan
Now, look how she glosses over the they $34 million to renovate, to remodel a private, the Martin Theater. They took $16 million. They could have fixed the Civic Center, which would have brought in revenue for the city, and the Marina with FEMA money, 95%. Restore it the way it was. That wasn't good enough for them. They wanted to take that money, dump it all into renovating, which is unbelievably outrageous. It's worse than fiscal insanity. It's criminal what they're doing. All of these stories are. But now they're going to, instead of digging into that, which, God willing, Ed Young, Demetrius Reese, and Doc Rohan win, maybe we can claw some of that money back and put it where it needs to be and find out really what's going on in the backroom deals and the secret meetings. The deep state. They're freaking out. Josh Street's head's exploding. Oh, the Hatfields and McCoys are getting pissed. He said deep state. It's so funny to me. So funny to me what you all focus on.
calls out his opponent Alan Branch with allegations of using public property for personal gain. While the literature is packed with content, there seems to have been an oversight, one that appears to break Florida law. The Florida Division of Elections mandates that any political advertisement that is paid for by a candidate must prominently state political advertisement paid for and approved
That's
by
true.
the candidate's name.
I don't know for sure. If I didn't do it, I guess I didn't know.
But look, they ambushed him. They didn't say, hey, we'd like to ask you about this and give him a chance to look it up. They just wanted him on camera for an ambush. He did a really good job for being ambushed.
I think that is probably generally an accepted good idea.
All right.
So you caught me. No, if it obviously, okay, yeah, you're right.
Maybe
It being a paid political advertisement that I put out, yeah, I guess it should have that on there.
Rohan says he paid for the letter to go out to around 5,000 Panama City residents. His opponent, Alan Branch, says he plans to respond by Tuesday night.
He's the one that has the misinformation and slandering people. He didn't even put paid for by Doc Rohan on the letter. He's the one that's not following the rule. Anyone who's seeking the truth can look on the property appraiser website and see the purchase records of the properties I own.
In Panama City, Grace Velez, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
All right. So I've pointed out this was not a good day for Mayor Rohan, but when you look at it in proportion to the situation in Panama City, a city that its own city clerk, a CPA, says will be out of money in about 5 months, that these so-and-sos borrowed $150 million. They're paying $9 million a year in interest. They claim that's okay because they're getting $5 million back in interest on the loan. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. So I would say keep some perspective about the whole thing. And here's the paid for Doc Rohan ad. This one has a financial disclaimer. How about that?
When we partner with them, they will get the fund. They will get the slip rents. They will get everything probably for 60 years. So that is income that we in the city won't get. We'll still, either way we go, we're going to have a marina. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The question is who's going to get the funds from the marina. And if we have the funds ourselves, I think that then we could start reducing the fire tax.
Vote for Doc Rohan for Panama City Mayor on or before April 22nd. I'll tell you, my opponent in 2018 or somebody sent out illegal postcards saying vote no on Thompson with no financial disclosure at all. At the time, I thought the undersheriff, Joel Heap, I thought he was my best friend. And he had the lawyers look at it, brought me back a whole bunch of papers. It was illegal. It was an illegal postcard. There was a news story about it. You can look it up. But the sheriff's office wouldn't do anything about it. And that was not by accident. They let it happen. It'll be interesting to see how hard the establishment tries to hammer Mayor Rowan for an oversight, an important oversight, but an oversight. Let me just show you what they did. So when I ran, again, I ran for Panama City Beach City Commission in 2018. I lost, was very embarrassed that I lost. I lost to Jeff McConnell, it was an open seat. And I mean, you talk about unanswered prayers, thank God, right? But I lost by around 100 votes, something like that. But you'll find this interesting. So there are 3 ways to vote. You can vote on Election Day, Tuesday, you can early vote, and you can mail-in vote. How many votes did I get? I think it was 967, something like that. I got the exact, you ready for this? It's quite a coincidence. I got the exact number of votes that came on Election Day. I think it was 967. That's how many people voted on Tuesday. My opponent got every single early vote and every single mail-in vote. Numbers wise. Now that's interesting, isn't it? It turned out that it was about 100 more. So crazy stuff. But the whole campaign when I ran was insane. And the reason I ran is I was giving public comments to Mayor Mike Thomas one time, and he was mouthing off. And I said, if you don't knock it off and behave yourself, I'm going to run for office and sit right next to you. He said, I wish you would. And I did. So what happened immediately is I got sued by Mario Gisbert's girlfriend, who was a contractor getting big deals. Her name is Jennifer Walgamot. She's also the contractor who did the study for the Panama City City Hall and Panama City Beach City Hall. She sued me too and got her ass kicked, but not nearly as bad as Hector Solis did. I'll show you. First, let me show you his accusations about campaign complaint. Look at this. They said that I broke the rules. Watch this. This is amazing. This is in March 6, 2018.
Panama City Beach City Councilman files an elections complaint against a candidate currently running for a seat on the council. Hector Solis taking the action against Bernie Thompson. As News 13's Aaron Morgan tells us, Solis claims Thompson has violated campaign finance laws.
This is
Panama City Beach City Councilman Hector Solis filed the election.
So this is WIBB's hit piece on me.
Complaint against Ward 3 Council candidate
Bernie
Thompson last month. According to Solis, Thompson is a local media personality and has been advertising for his campaign on his website without reporting the donations to the Bay County Supervisor of Elections.
Oh my God.
He has been advertising his campaign on his media.
I wasn't even running against this guy. This guy was elected in 2016. He ran, he said he was a federal law enforcement officer, retired. I kept asking for proof because I couldn't find any. So when he sued me for defamation, I put him under oath in a deposition and videotaped it. And do you want to see what he said under oath? I'm going to show you in just a minute. Look at this idiot.
Media page, which he charges for advertisement. He has charged other candidates that have run elections in the past. He's charged them for those services, yet he's given them to himself for free.
See, WMBB will run all this stuff, whether it's true or not, on behalf of the local deep state, the local cartel.
But Thompson, who was unaware of the complaint until we called him, also says he's unaware of breaking any rules.
I don't know what he's talking about. And I'll tell you, again, as I say, I've been working with, look at me in the Liberty Lounge, the supervisor of elections office, very closely. I call them all the time. Make sure I'm following the rules. Make sure I'm doing everything right, because I know that I'm going to receive more scrutiny
than the other candidates.
The Florida Elections Commission is investigating Solis's complaint. Thompson has had an ongoing dispute with Solis over Solis's career with the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Yeah, because he
Both men
lied.
say despite their differences, it will not affect their working relationship if Thompson is elected in April.
If Bernie Thompson's elected, then at that point, it's about the business of the city. There's going to be times I may agree with them, other times I may disagree with them. So, but when we're up on the dais, we need to be professional and make sure that we're moving the city forward.
Hector Solis and I, and Mayor Mike Thomas and I, we can all work together as long as they're professional and as long as we treat each other with respect and we don't call each other names. We can all work together.
In Panama City.
All right. So just so you know my take on that, you'll never see me. I do give nicknames to bullies and people I think are thieves or bullies in public office. I gave him one because he wanted, back in like 2017, he wanted to give Panama City Beach police binoculars to watch spring breakers from afar, to catch them digging holes. He said hose. That's how he says it. In the sand. He was an authoritarian left-wing psychopath, so I nicknamed him Hector Che Solis, like Che Guevara. So that was his nickname. But what I say on the show is partly entertainment. But whenever I'm in the chambers, as you see, it's Mr. Mayor, Mr. Commissioner. It's always that way. I comport myself properly, depending where I am. Okay, so that's what I meant by that. So you want to see what ended up happening with that complaint that WMBB wanted to report? And it did affect the election, of course, but here's what ended up happening. You remember, you saw that whole thing WMBB did? Here was their answer when the complaint came back that it was complete and utter bullshit. Watch. All right, look, there's no video. There's no video. It says Florida Election Commission responds to complaint filed in municipal election. And this is after the election. After the election. Look at that. Legally insufficient. I circled it for them just in case they missed it. And then I went to the city commission and I did this. This was bad. I had to confront these idiots. And this was right after, by the way, Mayor Thomas was sending code enforcement after his neighbors to terrorize them because he said the grass was too tall and he didn't like stuff parked in certain places. This guy's unbelievable. And they had a concert. The city had a concert, and during the concert, the singers were talking about how much they loved all the marijuana that they could smell. Now, I'm a libertarian. All right, smoke it if you got it. I don't give a flip. But my point is, you have a mayor who has sort of like drug festivals, and he's sending code enforcement over different kind of grass. I had a problem with that. And then when the news asked him about it, old Mike Thomas patted his belly and said he thought it was just hamburger seasoning. So I had to make a deal about it. I'll show you. Oh, by the way, this was my TV ad. This is what when I ran.
Hi, I'm Bernie Thompson, and I'm running for City Council. Let's restore the rule of law and public trust in Panama City Beach. And I want to focus on 3 things. Let's properly staff the police department so we can keep the peace. Let's audit City Hall so we know what the government knows.
Damn right.
And let's focus on roads and sidewalks and storm drains before we ever build a multi-million-dollar City Hall. So please.
Now, didn't that make sense? But the people didn't want that. People wanted projects. All right. So thank God, too, by the way. All right. So this is what I said to Mayor Thomas after they made those false accusations about me and after the news reported that I wasn't doing my campaign diligence, which was a hit piece by the local cartel.
Councilman Hector Solis, your complaint that you took to the media,
Mr.
the Elections
Thompson.
Commission. No,
This, Mr. Thompson.
this has to do with my name.
Listen
and the
to me
city
for just
council.
a
Mayor
second.
Thomas
Will,
talking.
will you please stop the timer?
The
please.
city council accused me of
Are you-
breaking election laws, and I'm going to clear it up right now. And
Listen,
I'm going to submit this to the council.
that would be fine, and it'll give us time to look at it.
I would love to speak with you. I'm glad you're talking, but I'm not going to let you cut into my time.
You're not going to be able to stop me if you
The
continue.
elections.
Listen, this is about city business. Your and Councilman Solis's problems have nothing to do
No,
with
sir, the
city business.
council
If you
accused
have,
me
you
of
said you had
violating
4
elections
questions.
violations.
Go to
This is
number
the
3.
second one.
Go to
No, I
number
will not
3.
go to number 3. The city council accused me of violating elections laws, and the elections commission said that was not so. How about And that? I'm curious why Councilman Hector Solis made these accusations without even going to the supervisor of elections first. The city council, by virtue of Hector Solis, accused me of something that the state said was untrue, and you will account to that by me submitting that. And I'd like that in the record, please. Number 3. This also involves the city.
All right, this is
Just
pretty
last
good. You
year,
ready
the
for this?
city was and just tonight, y'all put some teeth into the code enforcement. And you went after one brand new home because her sprinklers
All right, hold on.
attempt.
Watch this.
Councilman Solis, why are you not complying and why are you not? Why does it
Mr.
take 3
Thompson.
attempts?
You have asked that question.
No, I've never asked that question. I just got this through a public record request.
You have asked it, but to keep repeating it doesn't do any good.
Mayor Mike
I hear
Thomas,
you.
have you been enjoying too much hamburger seasoning?
Watch the guy in
No,
the
sir,
back.
But I do enjoy the.
Which leads me to the 4th point I'm going to make.
Okay.
And I expect to have at least 20 seconds.
All right, so yeah, I mean, this is something they do. Listen, if you're running for office to be reelected or whatever, you cannot make even a little mistake against this against what's going on around here, and not even a little one. You got to dot your I's, cross your T's, and Mayor Rohan did make a mistake. By the way, the election is already people are mailing in. I think early voting starts pretty soon. And this is one of the most important races right here in Panama City.
We have 3 city managers in Panama City. The first one, the chief one, makes $175,000 a year, and each assistant makes $125,000 a year, about $500,000 in one office alone. We have 714 employees in the city. We got 5 division heads. I've been in Air Force flights, wings, and commands. I've been in platoons in law enforcement. These numbers make no sense to me.
Vote for Ed Young for Panama City Commissioner, Ward 1, on or before April 22nd. Sorry. Goodness, how long was I doing that? God, no sound. Unbelievable. That whole time. All right. All I can do is keep going, right? Son of... All right, so I'm going to show you now the deposition when I was Bernie the attorney, and I was sued by Hector Solis because he had filed a defamation lawsuit when I was a candidate, and he lied about me to the Florida Elections Commission. Did you hear at least? Yeah, you did hear the okay. At least you heard the comments. So I got sued when I ran. I mean, they threw everything at me. And but boy, is it a big mistake when you're a public figure like Hector Solis and you sue somebody for defamation. Why? Because what you're saying, if I were to sue you for defamation, what I would be saying is, even if I'm right, and even if you defame me, all right, as a public figure, it's much harder to win a defamation lawsuit. And that's good because it means that the people can criticize and even be wrong about public figures. We have to be able to be wrong. But he sued me and he was wrong. And what he said is my words hurt his character. So what becomes the question at issue? His character. Guess what I found out? Ooh, it was bad. I found out that when he was in Texas, he was in a fight with somebody else.
And it was a black minister who had a nonprofit called Feed a Million Veterans. Hector Solis was terrorizing this dude. And this guy had "Go Home N-words" written on his door. And I heard that Hector Solis did it. And I asked Hector Solis under oath in a video deposition that I'm about to show you. What do you think he said? Do you think he denied it? All right, I'm going to show that to you. I'm coming right to it, okay? Right after this.
Hand caught in the cookie jar? Sometimes bad habits continue even into adulthood. I'm El Saline, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
Get to it. Here it is. So he's under oath. I'm Bernie, the attorney, representing myself. I'm deposing him. He sued me for defamation because he ran for office 2 years prior, saying he was a retired federal law enforcement officer. So were you or weren't you? Now I got subpoena power. We're going to find out. But this was what I asked him about. I led up to what I had heard, because remember, I'm the defendant here. And my strategy is to show that he's already a piece of garbage and that nothing I could have said about him could have possibly hurt his already awful character and reputation, especially if he wrote "Go Home N-words" on somebody's house. This is under oath, and WMBB would not report this whole thing. Watch this.
I'm not sure. I don't know. When did you meet Ernest Walker? Once again, I said it was between probably 2010, 2012.
He knows. Look, he's nervous. Oh,
Now,
he didn't know I knew about this. Don't sue me for defamation and think we're not going to get down. Under oath on video, because we're going to get down.
do you know if anybody ever wrote on Ernest Walker's
Look at him breathing. Ooh.
"Go Home N-words"?
Oh, his attorney is to his right, to your left. His attorney, DC Matthews, is freaking out. And he dropped Hector about 3 weeks later. He couldn't represent him anymore. He's freaking out, and he's going to object. Now, the attorney didn't think I knew that he can only object to the form, not to the relevance. Watch.
Yes, I do know about that. Tell me about that.
Look, he's looking to his attorney.
He's a Black American. He is. He's an African American. And did he just move into the neighborhood, or had he lived there for a while? This is in Texas. Right. There was a location that he was utilizing, and I was trying to get his business up and make his business get off the ground. What kind of business did he have? He was renting out a specific location as a
That's me deposing Hector because I didn't have an attorney.
wedding venue. Okay. And he endured this racism.
I'm going to object.
Oh.
Something. I don't know what these questions are, why you're asking about
Mr. DC Matthews is going to get a little nervous when I ask this question.
Ernest Walker and his time in Texas.
Well,
has nothing to do with the complaint.
Well, it's mentioned in the small claims court.
Yes, he mentioned that he would go to the small claims court. What does that besides the lawsuit in small?
Look, in Florida, there's a wide range in a lawsuit. What is discoverable might not be admissible, but it's discoverable. And especially if it has to do with his character, which is the entire question at issue. All right. So Mr. DC Matthews, the attorney, he got the hell out of this case 3 weeks later. So when I know he was shocked when I said, "Are you objecting to the form or the relevance?" Because he can only object to the form.
Thing. What is your question have to do with this lawsuit?
Are you objecting to the relevance or to the form?
I'm objecting to both of them.
I can't do that.
Show the point you're trying to get to. I mean, these are just random questions.
All right.
It seem to be random questions.
Enough of that. But what I'm pointing out to you is you can do anything. And he never denied it, by the way. And if you don't deny it in a court of law, it is considered what? True. It's considered part of it. They never denied that. They wouldn't deny it. They almost took a Fifth Amendment, pleaded the Fifth. But yeah, they no coverage of that. But if you don't dot an I or cross a T on a letter you mail out during a campaign, boy, WMBB's after you. I've been through this. I know these people. I know how they do it. They don't care about real crimes, but they'll pile on if they think the game is tight, and the game is tight. And there's a lot on the line. And I think the people know it. So he sued me, Hector Solis, in 2018 because he ran for office saying he was a retired federal law enforcement officer. I'm a retired federal law enforcement officer. What? I couldn't find any evidence of that. So for a year, I kept asking him. I said, look, I'm a former Air Force captain, and I would show my ID. Show me your badge. He wouldn't do it. He sued me instead. So here's what he said when I asked him under oath. All right, you ready for this? This is like 40 seconds. You're suing me because you claim to be a federal law enforcement officer and you claimed I hurt your reputation. Let's find out if he was or if he wasn't. Sheriff Tommy Ford and them let him do this. They let him say he's a retired federal law enforcement officer. They let him do that. I didn't know why at the time. Now I know why. Did you ever tell anybody that you were a maintenance man, or that you did maintenance work or electrical work while you were employed with the federal government?
Want to qualify, yes, in that I was a journeyman electrician.
That's right. Now we're talking. Is that a law enforcement officer?
In the capacity of the Federal Bureau of Prison, yes.
What do you mean?
In that all people hired by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, when they go through the academy, are all federal law enforcement, because we are all considered primary correctional officers first and our actual occupation second.
So a journeyman electrician at a prison is what he really was. Now, as it applies to pension and stuff, he's correct. But he ran and he told everybody he was a retired federal law enforcement officer. He went up on, talked to the city commission council before he was elected, and he claimed that when we went after drug busts and all this stuff, like it was a fraud. The news let him get away with it. Sheriff let it, everybody let him get away with it, except me. Yeah, don't sue me and think I won't have a field day with subpoena power. Bernie, the attorney, Jack. I'm not really an attorney, and I'm not giving legal advice. I just play one in real life and beat the attorneys. Ask Michael Dickey. All right, enough of that. But this is the story about Doc Rohan today, Mayor Rohan. Yeah, he was wrong about in the allegations about Alan Branch. I want to make sure I say that again. Now, that's something, by the way, I will tell you. But if the Josh Streets of the world, if they find out that their supporters are wrong in their allegations, and they are, they'll double down, they'll lie, they'll be nasty, they'll send you private messages, fighting like the Hatfields and McCoys. If you want to know more about that whole Hatfield thing, you got to rewind when I'm done here and watch a little earlier. I explained it. I can't believe I did it, but I did it. So bad. It's so bad. But yeah, they're nasty people. I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, Alan Branch did not do those allegations are wrong. I talked to Alan Branch at length on Friday. So you got to be able to tell the truth. No matter who you're rooting for or whatever, right? Our allegiance should be to the truth first. No, Bernie, we should attack and destroy is what we should do, like we did to you. Well, You missed. All right. I think that's about it. Is that about it? I do want to thank you for those of you who support my efforts. Oh, Lord, thank you so much for supporting my efforts, whether or not you do it on Patreon, patreon.com. It's like throwing a tip in the tip jar, as little as $5 a month. It's easy, it's anonymous, and you can quit at any time. And Lord, thank you, all of you who crowdfund and support my efforts, because the Liberty Lounge, it's not free. It's a real studio, it's a real office, and I'm so grateful to you, those of you who are patrons, and to the unknown patriot as well. Thank you so much for your support. Listen, if you want to not miss any shows or any posts, every Friday, I send them out in one email. And here's how you can get that. It's 20 seconds to subscribe. It's free. Bernie.substack.com. Bernie.substack.com. And finally, I'll say this. If you've been trying to reach me and you haven't been able to, I know that it's been especially difficult the last 2 months to reach me. And there's reasons for it that I promise you I'm going to share with you soon. I'm just not quite ready yet. I'm sorry. I'm so behind. But I do have to work. And if you book a call at calendly.com/Bernie Thompson for 30 minutes or for an hour, you can book time with me and you will have my undivided attention. And that's the best I can do. And those of you who do, thank you. I'm grateful for that as well. All right. With that, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will see you. Oh, what am I talking about? See you soon. What's today? Is today Tuesday? Let me check here. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, guess who's going to be on the show with me? Holy smokes. I got to do better at this. Former Lynn Haven Mayor Margo Anderson joins me on the show tomorrow, and I'm going to ask her all kinds of stuff. I'm going to ask her all kinds of stuff.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.